feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG, and we're back with more Duskmourn spoilers. So, starting our list off for this video is Glimmer Seeker. So, glimmers are the helpful creatures on the Duskmourn plane. So Glimmer Seeker is a white and 2 for a 3/3 human survivor with survival. Beginning your second main phase, if Glimmer Seeker is tapped, draw a card if you control a Glimmer creature. If you don't control a Glimmer creature, create a 1/1 white Glimmer enchantment creature token. So this is something that makes Glimmer tokens. Next up, we have another fear card in Fear of Failed Tests. A blue and 4 for a 2/7 Nightmare. Enchantment creature Nightmare. Their Fear of Failed Test deals combat damage to a player. Draw that many cards. Ooh. This would be especially crazy if you're putting in a big booty deck. Hoo-ha. Next up, we have Fear of Isolation. A blue and 1 for a 2/3 enchantment creature Nightmare. At an additional cost to cast the spell, turn a permanent you control to its owner's hand. It has flying. Okay. A little bit bigger creature for 2 mana. You just gotta return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Not bad. Next up, we have Unwilling Vessel. So Unwilling Vessel is a blue and 2 for a 3/2 human wizard with vigilance. Has Eerie. Whenever enchantment you control enters, whenever you fully unlock a room, put a possession counter on Unwilling Vessel. When Unwilling Vessel dies, create an XX blue spirit creature token with flying, where X is the number of counters on Unwilling Vessel. So this is a card that you want to be playing in your enchantment deck, especially if you're playing with the new room enchantments. So hoo-ha. That Amanatu deck sounds like a nice upgrade. It might even be in that deck. We don't know what's in that deck yet. Next up is Patched Plaything. Sounds like something out of a Chucky creepy horror movie, or the Twisted Winnie the Pooh movie, or Twisted Toy Story stuff. So it's a white and 2 for a 4/3 artifact creature toy. Has double strike. Patched Plaything enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it if you cast it from your hand. So this is something you want to bring back from the graveyard. Something that might fit in that graveyard deck, that winter graveyard deck that we saw. We saw the face card for. Next up, we have another room enchantment. So this is Smoky Lounge and Misty Salon. Smoky Lounge is a red and 2 It's part of an enchantment room. At the beginning of your first main phase, add 2 red mana. Spend this mana only to cast room spells and unlock doors. So for a blue and 3, it says when you unlock this door, create an XX blue spirit creature token with flying, where X is the number of unlocked doors among rooms you control. Definitely something, about unlocking rooms. So next up we have Mirror Room and Fractured Realm. An enchantment room, Mirror Room is a blue and 2 for enchantment room. This door, when you unlock this door, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it's a reflection in addition to its other types. Now, I am not entirely certain what a reflection is. I don't recall what it's if it was covered in the premiere video from PAX West Coast. Next up, we have the other door is Fractured Realm. 2 blue and 5. If a triggered ability of a permanent you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So, more triggering. Because doors trigger you. Scary doors trigger you. There's triggers behind your scary doors. Hoo-ha. Next up, we have a cycle of common lands, starting off with Abandoned Campground. So it's a land, and all these lands enter the battlefield tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. So you can tap this one to add a white or a blue. We have Murky Sewer, which is a land. It enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. You can tap a blue or a black. You have Razor Trap Gorge, which is a land that enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap a black or a red. You have Bleeding Woods, which enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap a red or green. We have Etched Cornfield. Crop circles. Crop circles. It's a land that enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap it to add a green or a white. We have Neglected Manor, which enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap it to add a white or a black. Strangled Cemetery enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap it to add a black or a green. Lakeside Shack, because all shacks by the lakeside are scary. And it enters tapped unless a player has 13 or less life. Tap it to add green or blue. Peculiar Lighthouse. Land enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap it to add a blue or a red. And Raucous Carnival. So it enters tapped unless the player has 13 or less life. Tap it to add a red or a white. So next up we have Infernal Phantom. A red and 3 for a 2/3 spirit with Eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, Infernal Phantom gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Whenever Infernal Phantom dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So it deals some damage to peoples. Ooh-haw. Next up, we have a really powerful card in Undead Sprinter. So it's only a black and a red for a 2/2 zombie, but it has trample and haste. You may cast Undead Sprinter from your graveyard if a non-zombie creature died this turn. If you do, Undead Sprinter enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. Now, this could get there could be all sorts of craziness about that. I would watch out for this card. This card is an interesting card. I mean, it's low cost, it has haste and trample, and if you're casting it from the graveyard, it comes in as a 3/3 with trample. This card will go places. So just to triple check, we want to make sure we don't have any extra cards coming down the pipe. Well, that's it for today's spoilers. Kind of a shorter video. We'll see you on the next video.